A man has two reasons for every decision.
We're gonna open it up right now.
One that sounds good and one that is real. This owner stored his Camaro most of 53 years. Even though he admits he wants to sell, can he do it? And if not, what's the real reason?
Come on in, come on in. How are you doing today, sir?
Good.
Good to see you.
I want you to meet Jim.
Oh, looky here, you got my book.
Yeah,
All right.
I got a marker too, so we can get an autograph.
Okay.
That's for sure.
He basically built this place so he could store all his stuff.
And his daughter Heather. Let's go see it.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
That's why, you know, people think just because I own a mini warehouse, when I put a car in here, it doesn't cost me anything. But you see, I could be renting that unit out, you know. Well, I started buying cars when I was 15. Got in a big giant fight with my dad because by the time I was 16, I had 3 cars and he said no more. I ended up moving out when I was 17. Hell, I was driving down the local street one day, turned to my left, and I saw that red Camaro. I went, holy smokes, had to have that car.
The year, 1969. Jim was still a teenager.
I've lost the passion on this car, but, you know, I still have had it 53 years. So you see this right arm? That's been there a little bit longer. And I knew exactly what I was going to do with that car before I even bought it. That engine had to come out because they had this new 454 aluminum heads and all that. And all I was interested in was getting to the racetrack. I'm not Jim without my 67 Camaro. I lose my identity. I'm not Jim anymore. So that was my original intention. That's why I bought that car, because I was into speed. Totally opposite of what I am now. I don't even like cars with loud mufflers anymore. I just like nice looking street rods, real quiet.
Like his 35 Chevy two-door coach.
And my passion changed from those speed cars to street rods. And even if my Camaro was running right now, and it was parked next to my 35, I'd rather get my 35 Chevy and drive it around than I would the Camaro. So my interests have changed, my passion has changed, and besides that, I got a bad left leg, and I can't drive a car with a clutch anyway. And so it's just time, you know. I got a daughter, and I got too much junk. She doesn't have any interest in the car.
You can't just sit here for another 30, 40 years. Got to do something with it.
Thing of it is, who would you rather have sell this vehicle? Me, while I'm still alive, or my 50-year-old daughter who don't know anything about it after I die? See, I had this car 3 years before she was even born.
And I'm 49, so.
I've had it 53 years. I bought it in 1969. Then she was born in 72. She's one of the reasons I never put that big engine in there like I planned.
It's all my fault.
So, many a reason to sell and move on, right, Jim?
Yeah, take a look at those cameras up there on the wall. If a dog walks across here, I get a beep on my cell phone. And I only live 5 minutes away. So if somebody's gonna grab it, they better move fast. It's a 67 RSSS big block, 3 1/4 horse it originally was.
Have you seen it before, Heather?
Oh yeah, but I haven't been allowed to touch it pretty much my whole life, so. It's always been a novelty, you know. I've never driven it. You know, when you're a teenager, it's like, oh, I want that car when I get older. And of course that was not going to happen, so.
You wanted the car?
Oh yeah, when I was a teenager, I actually ended up buying a Camaro, my very first brand new car, because I had seen this my whole life.
I'm gonna open this door for you. You know, it seems like these rubbers are not deteriorating at all. Listen to this. Just listen to this sound. I mean, that's like a brand new car.
Pop the hood.
First thing that happened, pull that 396 3 1/4 horse out of there. and set it on the garage floor.
Actually,
I bought it in April the 4th of 69. When I drove it that summer, and winter was coming. I didn't want to drive the car in the winter.
Minnesota.
You never wanted it exposed to salt, so the biggest mistake I made, I had a friend that had a Corvette that needed an engine. So he was over at my shop and he saw that engine laying there. Well, I think it only had like, I don't know, 12, 13,000 miles on it or something. He says, how much you want for that 396? I says, give me 300 and it's yours. So I don't ever remember worrying about matching numbers back then. You know, we never called them muscle cars. Then I had to move to Texas, and I had to get the car here. Probably about 73 or 75. I went to a junkyard, you know, and I bought another big block. And so I just threw that in the car just to get it running. Because by then I'd gotten married, bought a house. You know how life goes.
So, not the original 396, but the cowl tag on the firewall reveals the stock motor in group number 4 is an N for the 325 horse 396. Yes, sir, a 4N engine in an American car.
So I got the protector plate, you know, and all the books and papers.
Inside the new vehicle warranty booklet is the metal protecto plate. A printout of this metal tag reveals MW for the 325 horse 396 manual transmission.
Now, what'd that engine come out of?
My memory's not that good, but I think the guy said 66 Chevy pickup truck. He told me it was punched out 30. This one's got the Holly on it. And I suspect that intake manifold and that carburetor was probably on that engine when I bought it at the wrecking yard.
The stock carburetor, look in the far upper right, the protecto plate, R for Rochester.
I don't know if those are my original valve covers or not. I believe they are. And I think that's my original exhaust manifold.
And what is this right here?
That's the cruise control. That's that aftermarket cruise control that I put on.
How would you sell your car?
You know, I have no clue. I search all the time for comparables to see if there's something like that that's sold. I can't find any Camaros with that kind of mileage on it, number one.
Let's see, where's the odometer? Right.
It's right there.
There's your
You see it?
23,000?
Should be 27, isn't it? 23.
23.
Yeah.
And this car has the tack in the dash.
I can't find any 67 Camaros with original paint. And so you take that combination with low miles and original paint. If I could find something in the world that sold like that, we'd have an idea what it would be worth. The mistakes I made were selling that engine right in the very beginning. That was probably the biggest mistake I made. The other mistake I made when I was a kid, when I bought it, when I was 18, I worked at a truck dealership and they had a paint booth there. And when I bought the car, it had a couple of door dings, and I was a perfectionist. So I had a body shop at this truck dealership. I took it in there and I sanded it down, painted just the driver's door. Probably got some moisture or something underneath that paint, or conditions weren't just right up in Minnesota. Even though it's got all original paint, the driver's door is the panel that still needs to be painted because I did this to it. And then I didn't like that gas cap in the back, you know, where it said SS on it. I kind of like the clean look on the back. And besides that, I had some kegs made up that were going to be my fuel tanks for in the trunk. And so I took that gas cap off, took that neck out of there. This is the old neck, see, that used to go there. And then I spot welded a piece of metal in there and kind of filled that in with body putty. And then this was painted between these tail lights.
Likewise, Jim pulled that SS emblem out of the center of the grill. Still has it in his toolbox. He even bought an extra at a swap meet.
You got the jack and everything?
Yeah, you know, I got just about everything in here. Not all in this stall. I got some in the stall.
What about this little pinstripe? Was that on it?
You know, that's all original too. Isn't that something? See, this particular model, see, we had these backup lights down here. There's the straps that hold the gas tank in. See, we pulled the gas tank out thinking there'd be a bunch of mud in there. Cleaner than a whistle inside of that tank.
Quarters look good.
Yeah, she's solid.
No rust?
No rust. Just amazing.
Yeah, I think inside here you can look inside and
See that Munt stereo?
I don't. Oh, you gotta close that.
Yeah, it's hanging underneath the glove box there.
Here's your gauges, and this shifter's all stock.
Yeah, I believe it is. That might even be the original knob on there.
So this interior mainly needs cleaned up.
Look at the headliner too. That headliner's all original. Never did anything to the interior.
On a low mileage car, I always like to look at the pedals. Notice how the cuts in that hard rubber are well defined.
Carpet's original. See that 93 sticker up there in the corner?
Oh, over here?
Yeah. That was put on in 93, expiring in 1994. That was the last time we had it licensed.
And it looks like you wrapped the steering wheel.
Yep.
A little model in the back here.
Never did anything to the interior.
Looks like the interior just might need a good cleaning.
I got a whole bunch of these stalls filled up. Yeah, when I die, I'm sure there's going to be a dumpster right here.
You got more stuff in these stalls?
Oh, I got a 39 Chevy down there. That hasn't run since 1991. Backed it in the stall, you know why? The water pump was leaking. I was driving the car, all original. Got the clutch and the whole shebang.
No, I think we got down and you finally told us what's really going on.
Could be. So,
What's in here?
well, remember I told you I had some parts scattered throughout some of these stalls. So, like there's the original radiator right there.
You can see where it started to leak in the bottom.
And then there's all the original wheels. Those rally wheels. With the beauty rings and all that stuff. Those two tires on the bottom.
You think that was on the car when it was new?
Oh, these are the original tires that were on the car when I bought it. These are the originals, I'm sure, from the factory. See, they're super sport ovals.
So we thought it was about the car, but there's more to it.
Probably what my daughter had said, yeah. All I know is one of the reasons I built this mini warehouse was because I couldn't get a car in my garage at home.
What?
Who knows? You know, I'm just one of them guys that likes old stuff. You know, that's why I'm so into ancestry. It's another one of my passions, you know, looking at old photos. It did not come with this spoiler. And then I remember going to the Chevrolet dealer and buying that. There ain't enough lifetimes just to do all the things that I'm passionate about, you know. I'm a hockey nut, number one. You know, I collect sports memorabilia. That's another passion. I collect jukeboxes and pinball machines, and like I told you, I like old stuff. The older it is, the better I like it.
What's holding you up from selling it? This.
That's a good question. I just don't have the time right now to mess with it.
Time.
I just don't have the time. I wish I had time. I wish I was retired like you and just drive around the country and have fun every day.
It's the time factor getting it ready to sell. And you don't want to sell it for significantly less than it's worth. You want to get what the car's worth.
More and more, yeah, for sure. I'll come in here every once in a while. Let's take a look at it. Everybody goes, wow, wow. If you ever sell it, call me. Time to end the show. I was going to have the fastest Camaro in the country. And this is the invoice that it was called Lindale Automotive. It was a Rambler dealer. See, here's the original note. See, my dad had to co-sign. So I took out a loan, see if it's for, look at that, for 1769.
If you see the engine suffix code T, May 24th, MW, stamped into a 396 block, you might have found the original engine for this car.
He's the most sentimental human on the planet, so getting rid of anything, much less something he's had for longer than he's had me, is going to be...
Listen, all the guys that you've dealt with, you probably are a psychiatrist by now.
John Graham with the 66 Chevelle.
I was gonna fix it up like everybody else does. So many things got in the way. So it never happened.
The guy, Danny, with the 57 dual 4 car, Danny Elliott, he just bit the bullet. He said, you know,
I'm out of the antique car business.
There you go.
Been in it all my life.
Don't let it smash.
I'm 74 years old and it's time to quit.
There you go. 1, 2, 3. Pass it to another generation.
Well,
Exactly.
so what's holding you up from selling it? This.
That's a good question. I just don't have the time right now to mess with it.